The notion that global warming is a satanic mission to undermine Jesus may seem far-fetched to many, but it is an idea that has been circulating in certain religious and conspiracy theory circles. According to this perspective, the forces of darkness, led by Satan, are behind the environmental degradation and climate change that is currently afflicting the planet. The ultimate goal of this supposed satanic mission is to undermine the authority and teachings of Jesus Christ and to pave the way for a new world order that is antithetical to Christian values. Proponents of this idea point to the fact that many of the world's most prominent environmentalists and climate change activists are secular or even openly hostile to Christianity. They argue that these individuals are often motivated by a desire to promote a pagan or earth-worshipping worldview that is in direct conflict with the teachings of Jesus. Furthermore, they claim that the emphasis on environmentalism and sustainability is often used as a pretext to promote policies and practices that are morally reprehensible, such as abortion, population control, and the redistribution of wealth. One of the key strategies that Satan is allegedly using to advance his mission is to promote a fake or exaggerated narrative about the dangers of climate change. By creating a sense of panic and urgency around the issue, Satan is able to manipulate public opinion and influence policymakers to adopt radical and drastic measures that are designed to undermine the sovereignty of nations and the freedom of individuals. These measures might include the imposition of carbon taxes, the restriction of personal freedoms, and the redistribution of wealth on a global scale. Another way in which Satan is supposedly using global warming to undermine Jesus is by promoting a false gospel of environmentalism. This false gospel emphasizes the idea that humanity can save the planet through its own efforts and ingenuity, rather than through faith in Jesus Christ. By promoting this false narrative, Satan is able to lead people away from the true gospel of salvation and towards a counterfeit gospel that is focused on worldly concerns rather than spiritual ones. In addition, some proponents of this idea argue that the climate change agenda is being driven by a small group of powerful and influential individuals who are committed to a new world order agenda. This agenda, they claim, is designed to create a one-world government that is controlled by a small elite of bankers, politicians, and corporate leaders. The ultimate goal of this new world order is to create a totalitarian regime that is hostile to Christianity and freedom and that seeks to impose a radical and secularized worldview on all of humanity. Despite the fact that this idea may seem fanciful or even bizarre to many, it is clear that there are some interesting connections and coincidences between the climate change agenda and the values and principles of secular humanism. For example, many of the leading figures in the climate change movement are also prominent advocates for abortion, gay rights, and other causes that are anathema to traditional Christian values. Furthermore, the emphasis on environmentalism and sustainability is often used to promote a worldview that is deeply hostile to the idea of human exceptionalism and the notion that humanity is created in the image of God. In conclusion, while the idea that global warming is a satanic mission to undermine Jesus may seem far-fetched to many, it is an idea that has some interesting and thought-provoking connections to the values and principles of secular humanism. Whether or not one accepts this idea as credible, it is clear that the climate change agenda is being driven by a complex array of motivations and interests, and that the ultimate goals and consequences of this agenda are still not fully understood. As Christians, it is essential that we approach this issue with a critical and discerning eye, and that we seek to understand the deeper spiritual and philosophical implications of the climate change agenda. By doing so, we can better navigate the complexities of this issue and promote a more nuanced and balanced understanding of the relationship between faith, science, and politics.